Good day and welcome to this first segment of this week's A Week at the Plot. It's a rather glorious Monday afternoon here. The skies are blue, the sun is out, it is warm, quite a distinct change in temperature than a week ago where it was really feeling rather chilly. It certainly feels like a sunny autumn day now, rather than last week where it felt as though we were having sort of grey early winter days. It feels autumnal rather than wintry at the moment, which is lovely, and I hope that we're going to get decent weather over the coming weeks. There's a few things that I want to plant over the next month or so, and I'll come on to that a bit later, but I wanted to get down today because I wanted to water the polytunnel and the greenhouse. I'm going to be at For Earth's Sake and the Great Green Barn tomorrow, and I won't have time to get down here and water, and with the higher temperatures and more sun, I want to make sure that everything is well watered, not over watered but well watered. So that is what I have done. And then as I was leaving the house to come down here, the doorbell rang and it was Royal Mail, a delivery. So this is a small fig, so it's a cutting which has been grown on in this pot, and it's a Rouge de Bordeaux, which is a fig that was one of my mum's favourite figs. A neighbour had one of these a few doors away when we were young kids, up to about the age of 8 I think when we moved. And mum absolutely adored the figs. That mum loved all figs, but particularly the Rouge de Bordeaux fig. So I saw it the other day. I was doing some research on it, Googling, and it came up as an item on eBay, and it was such a good price. And we'd received some birthday money, or I received birthday money from Courtney and Dave. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to spend it on this. So I have done, and it arrived today. It's been in the post I think about a week. It definitely will need watering, but it's really pretty decent. No leaves on it. I think that's a dead branch, so I'm going to cut that off. Let's just see if we can take it out of here. It's got a rubber band around the top that is holding this plastic bag in place. Oh yeah, it's got moss on the top of it, so it's definitely been growing in here quite a while. You can see that. Let's just quite a lot of roots there. Yeah, definitely needs potting on, but you know what, I think that's a really decent plant for, I think it was about £8, something like that. So I'm going to be potting that up into a larger pot in a minute. But yeah, really pleased with that, So the reason that I've come down here today was, I say, to water, but I've been mulling over the past few days whether I do garlic this year. And you know what, I used some of our own garlic in a dish the other day, in a very simple pasta dish, and the garlic was, there's a magpie, I can see the shadow of a magpie on our door, it's on the top of the shed there. So I do get distracted, don't I? So the garlic was just so fabulous, and it's been really great for me in peeling the garlic. It peels really well. It's precocium garlic that it was the first time we grew it last year. It grew pretty well, didn't have that much white rot. And you know what, when I was doing that and tasting this garlic in this pasta sauce, I thought, Paul, you can't not do it. You know, those shards of green that give life to the allotment over the winter months, I can't not do that. I knew I was going to be doing broad beans, a couple of types of broad beans, but I thought I'd knock garlic on the head for sure this year. But no, I've decided not to do that. I've decided to grow it. And I went online and I think I bought it. Oh, I can't remember where I bought it from. I'll put hello, Mr. Magpie. Oh, if I move, if I swap the camera around? No, he's sitting there. What I'll do is I'll put where I got it from down below. And I bought 6 bulbs, which should be plenty. Now the thing is, I need to decide where I'm going to put it, and I'm going to go outside and have a little mull on that. This is where I've decided I'm going to have our broad beans this year, and I'll do 2 double rows of broad beans, and I will net them with this netting, because by the time I put these in, I'll have the bigger blue hoops over this bed and the scaff netting over there. So this is where broad beans is going to go. There is the possibility to put garlic in here, in both of these sort of beds, though I won't need both beds. But we did garlic, I think, in these a few years ago, and because we have a propensity for white rot, I think I'm going to give it a miss there. But that is an option. And then, have we had garlic in this bed? Not sure. I mean, the chard will carry on going, I think, even though our beetroot will be out. So maybe it's not sensible to use this bed. And that bed there, I just wouldn't put garlic into that, because I will be sowing either carrots or parsnips or early potatoes into the raised bed early in the spring. So if I'm doing that, I don't want to put the garlic in there because it won't be harvested till June. Then if we come over here, this, you may remember, is where I sowed our garlic kale. No, Kimi Durapa, broccoli rabe, a few weeks ago. It germinated relatively well, but then got mowed down. There's a couple, not sure if you can see there, that have survived, but basically this bed is available, so that is a possibility. Then the central bed here is also a possibility, and I'm sort of favouring that one at the moment. I think I could get 4 rows of maybe 1.5 bulbs. Yeah, if I've got 6 bulbs, I'd get 1.5 bulbs in each row in this one and get 4 rows, and I'm sort of favouring that one at the moment. This bed here, this one, is a possibility, but I think want to keep that as a flower bed this year, or rather for next year's growing season, which is for me starting from October. So yeah, I think it's either this one in the middle, where we haven't had garlic for quite a few years, or this one where again we haven't had garlic for quite a few years. So I will continue mulling where they go. I sort of think, as I say, the central bed sounds right. It drains quite well as well. I mean, both of them do. Anyway, yeah, plenty of time to mull that, because I don't expect to receive the garlic until maybe the beginning of October, middle of October, even end of October. When I do get them, I will get them in as soon as possible. I'm trying to get things done as they happen, like potting on this Rouge de Bordeaux that arrived today. So that is what I am going to do now. And I will see you later in the week for another segment of A Week at the Plot. See you then. I do hope we get rain overnight, but I hope during the day the days are like this, sunny and gorgeous and warm and blue skies. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. See you soon. Bye.
Good day. It's early on Thursday morning. I've just come down to water things in the poly and the greenhouse, and you can see here that these two lettuce on the left and the right, the taller ones, are beginning to bolt. I think they've been stressed during their growing, and yeah, they're going to bolt, but there's decent leaves on there, so I will be harvesting those leaves and most probably transplanting some, maybe transplanting two of the lettuce we've got on top of the bench here into where they are once I've harvested from them. We'll see. But yeah, I needed to water in the greenhouse and the poly. Certainly don't need to water outside, but for different reasons than lack of rain, or too much rain in fact. The main reason I don't need to water beds out here is because there's so little growing. It's oh, look at that parakeet. Can you see that parakeet on the apple? Oh, maybe you can't. You can hear it when it makes a noise. I can see from here an apple has it's starting to eat the apples on that tree over there. Having devoured ours, it's clearly going for that apple. But anyway, yes, back to here. We have so little growing. You know, at this time of year we've usually got beans, we've got French beans, we've got runner beans growing up poles, we've got brassicas, which we do have some, we've got tomatoes, squash, cucumber, courgette, beetroot, turnips, a host of things. And this year we've got some brassicas which are underneath those nets, just about holding in there despite being eaten by slugs and snails. And then over here we've still got chard and beetroot, two types of beetroot. I'll be down later to harvest some of the beetroot, and most probably I will be giving this bed a weed and a water later. Yeah, and then the beds behind me are usually, you know, they've usually got things growing in them, but not this year. I met a neighbour, somebody that I see as I come down to the allotment on a regular basis, or I see on a regular basis as I come down to the allotment, and she was saying the same. You know, her back garden has got far less in it this year than she normally has, simply because things have been eaten. But as I said to her, you know, so many of us are looking forward to the next growing year, and for me that starts in less than 2 weeks with the months of October and November, where beans, broad beans and garlic go in. So yeah, anyway, I do need to tidy these beds, and I most likely be doing some weeding over the coming days. We had plot inspections yesterday and my plot passed, though to be honest I'd be giving myself a notice to weed, as I did several times whilst I was chair. Anyway, I mean, also I know we've got different plot neighbours here, but again this is a sort of, you know, late autumn view as well, rather than an early autumn view. But yeah, let's just go down here. This apple tree, which is not mine, it's a plot neighbour's, has produced amazingly this year. It needs a good prune, but you saw where the parakeet was. Not sure if you can see this apple here has been eaten, pecked. Again, it's sort of above head height, which the parakeets seem to really enjoy, things above head height, above human head height, I mean. This is a delicious apple. The only issue is, and I'm not sort of great on apples, is they often get, I'm not sure if you can see there's a sort of something has got in there, up there, something's got into that one. They often have a midge, as my mum would say, inside them. You can see this one here, sorry, you see the top there has been, yeah, something's got in there. I come around here, something there. It often gets attacked, just that little thing, and then there's a sort of worm inside. But the apple itself is glorious. It tastes fabulous. And I did say to the plot person that has this plot now, do harvest them early, because the later ones seem to get a worm or a midge, as my mum would say, in there. But such a glorious colour. Lavender, that's going to be something that is definitely going to be sorted out in the coming days. And then this area at the front is definitely going to be sorted out in the coming months, because I'm going to be putting shrubs into here and perennials. More perennials, I think, is the way to go. Anyway, as you can most probably see up there, the polytunnel door is shut, and that's because I haven't watered in there yet, and I'm just about to do that now. So I will see you very soon for a further segment of a week at the plot. It is gloriously quiet down here, it really is. The odd mumbling of people going down the lane and past the fox. Obviously you can hear that police car as well. But yeah, it's quiet. Quite a few cats, not caught any on camera this morning. But when I came down, Big George was over there, and then the Bengal came along, and they were having a bit of a scrap, and then stopped and went their way. And the Bengal is now at the back over there by the poly having a wash. You can't see it from here, but that's where she is. Anyway, I'm going to go before I start rambling. See you soon. Bye. Good day. I decided it was time to cut the lavender stems of the flowers off the plant itself. So I have done that, tidying up a bit as I went. There's so much tidying to do here. Oh, I'm not sure if you can see the rippling water of the pond. Skanky frog has become pond frog, has moved away from skanky water over there. Maybe because there is no skanky water over there at the moment. But yeah, I've tidied up this lavender, and I've also tidied up those two over there. Time to start the autumn tidy for sure. There's quite a lot of dead wood under here, which I'll take out another day, and then I'll get shears and just tightly shape this. But at least I'm pleased to have got the little lavender scented flowers off. Or are they seeds by now? I'm not sure, but they're off. Yeah, and that pond, that's where Skanky Frog is living now. I need to pull some of that grass that's going in out, but he seems quite happy in there. We do have a thunderstorms warning and heavy rainfall due on Sunday, which would be welcome because everything is so dry. The wind, the breeze that we've had has been so drying, as I've said for ages, and it really is just dry. This was watered, given 3 watering cans yesterday, and look at it, the top of the soil is just bone dry. Also needs good weed. And over here I've got lavender that I'm saving in a bag there, and in there I've got lavender that's going into our compost bin. And what I've done is I've chopped most of it up, as you can see, so that will help aerate our compost, because it'll dry and be quite sort of brittle, twiggy, that's what I mean, twiggy. So that will help aerate our compost when we turn it. I'm pleased to have got that little job done. I think it took me about 40 minutes to do that, and yeah, it's been one of those jobs, you know, you cannot not see them bouncing in the wind. And even though it's lovely to see the lavender bouncing in the wind, there's also been part of me, as I've seen that each time I've gone past over the past few weeks, where I've gone, I need to cut those back. So today I have got that job done. Another day I'll get the shears. I don't think we've got them here, I think they're at home. I'll bring the shears from home and I'll just tidy up the domes of lavender, not cutting into dead wood, but just sort of nipping them sort of nice and tight around the new growth that is already there. So cutting a little bit into the new growth, that will be fine. And the bits that I cut off that were going into the compost bin are now in the compost bin, and the bag, the paper bag of ones that are going to dry, I brought in here and it's in the corner of the shed now, so that's absolutely fine. There's already been quite a lot of lavender shared on site, and there's a lot on the sharing table at the moment, which is why I haven't shared it sort of around and about. One person has come and taken some, so they're using it for their own crafting, so that's quite good. But you know what, it's always good to get things in the compost bin. It is. Now, last week I sowed some Nemesia, and I did do footage of it, and I thought I'd lost the footage, and I thought that's really odd, but never mind. It's in the greenhouse under a cover, and there's no sign of germination yet. But when I was just trawling through footage the other day, I noticed that I do actually have the clip. So I'm going to slot it in here now and take you through what I did when I sowed that little seed. And it really is a tiny seed. It's sort of like, it's even smaller than carrot. It really is quite small. But anyway, I'm going to slot it in now. As you can see, it was quite a sunny day, a bit bleached out of me putting the very fine seeds into my palm to scatter over the compost quite thinly, and the compost is fresh compost that I'm using here. Too much seed in my palm, so off it goes back into the little greaseproof paper bag and then back into the seed packet. And stupidly I just leave it here at that moment, and you'll see why a bit later. Tamping it down now with my fingers, tamping the compost down to make sure that the seeds are well in contact with the compost, because you want that, you don't want too many air gaps in there. Just a thin scattering of compost going on top now, and there we are. I think a little bit more, tamping it down again to make sure that the seed is in good contact with the compost. And then I decide it's time to water, and I haven't got my watering can ready yet,
So I go off. I mean, it has been filled, but I didn't actually put it at the side of me, which was a bit stupid, but there we are. I do these things every now and again. As you can see, there's quite a few bees and things around at the moment, just buzzing, and of course an annoying fly there. So I water it, but then I splosh some water onto the seed packet. You can just see there. Anyway, I realise at this point that I've put water on the seed packet and go off and dry it off. And I've put a little propagator lid on here. There we are. So we will see whether that does germinate. I mean, my germination rate this year has been most probably about 80% down on previous years. And I can only put that down really to compost and atmospheric stroke weather conditions. I don't think suddenly this year my skills have vanished from me and my green fingers have gone. I'm sure it's the compost, and next year I'm going to be using a different compost to do seed sowing. I am going to be using a seed sowing compost next year for most of the things I want to put out. But of course then the things that we have put out have been eaten by slugs and snails, blah 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 blah. No, there we are. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm going to start rambling, and I'm not going to do that because I need to go home and do something else at my desk, and I need to edit this as well. So I'm going to say goodbye for this week's A Week at the Plot. Whatever is happening in your garden, your growing space, or your allotment, whether you're diving into winter even though you're only into autumn like we are in the UK, or whether you're diving away from your winter in the southern hemisphere, I hope you are taking time out to just sit and enjoy, and also getting a spot of work done as well. Right, any comments, any questions, please do leave them down below. As per usual, on Planet Vegetaria there'll be segments through next week, and on YouTube there'll be another full upload in a week's time. Anyway, I will see you very soon, and in the meantime, happy growing. Bye.